So our new anime begins in a full moon night when a Fenrir was attacking the village, and they spent all their money to hire the Flaming Dragon Party. Our protagonist was useless in fight. But his party wasn't. Bandana ties the wolf, but she was weak, but they had Priestess for support, so they made an opening for their leader to take down a double S-rank monster. And after defeating this monster, their party became a hero's party, and Kurt was a part of it. Then villagers took care of their dinner, but Galnova didn't like it and orders Kurt to cook for him. But Bandana remembers they are about to kick Kurt out of party because he's so useless. Aside from chores, he can't do anything, and according to the law, a party can only have 4 members. So they want to give that spot to a mage instead of Kurt. Kurt tried to beg them, but he got a rough answer in return. That's how Kurt was kicked out, and with nowhere else to go. He got back to the city, and went to the Hello Work station to find work. There he got a near heart attack by the receptionist Chriselle. Anyone can find work here. And Kurt told her he's 15, and his name is Kurt. After registration was completed, he told Krish he worked in Dragonfong Party doing chores for them. But still just the name of that party was enough for Kurt to land any sort of job. So Kurt got excited that his former party name came in handy, but before that he has to do the aptitude test. Chriselle was positive that everyone has some sort of skill granted by gods. Skills are based on G to triple S, which means the higher the rank, the awesome their power becomes. But Kurt was seriously a bottom feeder, got G in every single thing, but still they could test out his alchemy and blacksmithing skill after the tester gets back in 7 days. But Kurt was running out of money, so Chriselle asks Kurt to lift up that dirt bag, and Kurt instantly felt his mana draining. He was only able to lift it for a few seconds, but it was enough. With it, Chriselle lands him a job at a construction site, but the contractor thought pretty boy like Kurt can't do heavy lifting job. But he was in shorthand, so he asked Kurt to do the cement work on the wall, and by the time he gets back, he wants Kurt to at least empty half the barrel. Kurt was confused if he has to pour his mana into it to strengthen the cement, and he wasn't able to ask the guy, so he just did the work on his own way, which shocked the contractor. Because Kurt did one heck of an impossible speed run. Kurt was planning to work for a week, but he already did 1/3 of the work. So contractor gave him all he had, and decided to give the rest through Hello Workstation. Then in next 2 days, Kurt almost did half of the job by himself, and contractor kicked him out because this job was to provide the poor people and Kurt alone did most of the work. According to Blondie, Kurt showed at least double S-rank skill, and Kurt thought that Blondie was sugarcoating him to kick him out, and Chriselle too felt bad for the guy. But a woman there was requesting a minor, and Chriselle took a moment to talk with the girl. She was requesting a minor to pay only on successful results, and it will be hard to find someone who would take the job. So Chriselle gave her the other way around, but she didn't have money for that. But Kurt heard this and vowed he's an experienced miner, but the girl didn't want a pretty boy for the work. She needed a strong man, however. There was no option left, so she had to make do with what she had in front. And Chriselle thought that Kurt could be a hit if he works in brothels for women. Such a naughty thought. But there Chriselle saw what Kurt earned in 3 days was a massive amount and fell down on sandbags. Those dirt bags were special because it takes mana from the lifter and gets heavier every second. It doesn't react to normal people because it needs at least a court mage to activate them, which means Kurt was at least at a court mage level. At the time, he was heading in the deep mountains where Yuli Shia had set up a camp. But it was only one, and Kurt was uncomfortable because he can't sleep beside a cute women. Such flattery make Yuli Shia embarrassed, and Kurt vows what he said is all true. Way to go for complimenting a girl. And after that, she gave him potato to eat. Even that makes the pure guy so happy because Galnova and others never ate with Kurt. But afterwards, Kurt couldn't sleep because Yuli Shia was sleeping so carefree. Kurt got hurt because he's a man too, but he's a pure guy, and went outside. Yuli Shia was testing out Kurt, and he really turned out to be a good guy. But Lady thought she could tease him with this. And then Kurt spent the night out and even patched up her coat. Kurt was handy and way too good to be true. But anyways, Kurt asked about the digging place, and Yuri was going to dig randomly. But that way they won't find any ore. So Kurt puts his experience to work and found his first haul. Then he turned it into magic crystals first. And until now, Yuli Shia thought only 10 craftsmen could do this. But Kurt did it but too soon. So Kurt thought he must have lacked mana, and Yuli Shia knows the guy got all wrong. But for now, she decided to head back to sell this magic crystal. And as she tried to sell it, the knight started to interrogate her. So Ulysses showed her the royal family badge. Ulysses works as an adventurer under the royal family. So she got a clearance and used the magic crystal to get to the royal capital. Here, she had a friend who would buy this, but Mimiko thought the crystal has so less magic in it that it's so dim. But she decided to make double checks on it, and the results were bombing. One crystal was worth 10 gold coins because it has way too much magic. And the reason it wasn't shining was because it was treated to prevent mana leaking out. That's why Mimiko asked Ulysses to not sell it to anyone, because they won't be able to recognize its true value. And another thing is that she wanted to know who made this, and Ulysses refused. Mimiko also works under the royal family, and she had a status above Ulysses that's comparable to a count, but Ulysses refused to say anything, and Mimiko gave up. Ulysses was in a complete shock because Kurt was such a valuable gem, so she went to Chris Hell, and she had the same question: who is Kurt? Chris Hell couldn't reveal personal information of Clint, but after seeing the royal order, she revealed Kurt used to be a party member of Hero's Party, and he worked on city walls and did half of the work by himself. It was troublesome news, so Ulysses gave another bag of money for Kurt and asked Chris to keep Kurt's information a complete secret. And as she got back, Kurt has already built a house in just one day because it is a common practice in his village. Kurt is such a monster, but right there our episode 1 ends. So stay tuned to watch the next episode, and for that subscribe the channel, and hit the bell icon to get the latest updates. Till then, take care.